Defy peril in the wilderness, outer space, or mystical and fantastic lands. Tackle puzzles, command your followers, plot your strategy, move in the shadows, or simply enjoy a good laugh. You can do all of this plus much more this year on your Quest 3. Welcome to GameList Plus. I'm Josh, and here are the biggest MetaQuest 3 games of 2025, Volume 2. These are the 10 biggest games in my mind that are still coming out this year, but I also have some bonuses at the end. If you click the links in the description below for these games as they're released, your purchase will go to supporting GameList Plus at no extra cost to you. So let's get started. Starting out the list at number 10, Syberia. Syberia is a haunting adaptation of the beloved narrative adventure that was fully remastered and then adapted to VR. You play as Kate Walker, a lawyer from New York who is sent to a remote village in the French Alps to finalize the sale of an old automation factory. It turns into an extraordinary journey across Eastern Europe. You'll solve intricate puzzles in a rich and immersive world alongside a moving and unforgettable story. This game was originally made all the way back in, I think, 2002 for PC, and it's one of those really cool remasters that they've decided to bring back, and then they also decided to pull it into VR. In the trailers for the remaster, you're looking at it from a third-person perspective, so it'll be interesting to see this in full VR where you are in the first-person view. I am definitely looking forward to trying this one out when it comes at some point this year. At number 9, Deadly Delivery. Deadly Delivery is a cooperative survival horror VR experience where you play as delivery goblins, braving pitch-black monster-infested locations. In this spooky, silly, and tense online co-op multiplayer game, you'll navigate the shadows with up to 3 other players to coordinate, deliver, and survive, or watch your coworkers get picked off one by one. As you try to balance tension with humor, you'll have to rely on communication and nerve to deliver your cargo and stay alive. The game features spatial audio and proximity voice chat, just like the viral hit Lethal Company. And I have to say, Lethal Company, I think it came out 2 years ago. That is one of the most fun experiences because of that proximity voice chat. So you speak to your teammates on your mission in that game, and depending on how far away they are within the space, you hear them from that distance. Deadly Delivery is definitely very much inspired by Lethal Company, and you can tell, but this one you're delivering packages rather than trying to infiltrate spaces, and there's all kinds of monsters and things that could attack you in the dark. Deadly Delivery really does genuinely look like a ton of fun, and if it has anywhere near as much success as Lethal Company, we will be in for a treat. If you're enjoying this video, hit that like button. It really does help my channel a lot, and hit subscribe if you want to see the rest of my upcoming videos. Next on the list at number 8, How to God. How to God is a sandbox god sim in VR where you grow your power and influence as an amateur deity, shaping and nurturing life. You build and customize your followers' villages, respond to prayers, and slowly use the simulation to manipulate your creations and use real-time strategy choices against other villages as you build and perfect your land. It's really one of the most fun things that I've jumped into. I got early access to it to try out the game in its current state, and they're quickly progressing it forward, but just the amount of gameplay that I played, as you can see here, really is fun, and it looks very basic. Like the standard functions are pretty simple. It's very cartoony. It's really cool because there's a lot of strategy to the way you use your resources, where you send your people to go find things and have them pray to collect enough energy. It's got those really cool real-time strategy elements to it, but then also is just fun and whimsical, and you can power up your monster and power up your abilities. I was sad when the beta version that I was playing was over, and I'm actually really looking forward to playing a lot more of it. By the time I reached the end of the demo, I was really sad because it was just over, but I had fully drained my battery anyway, so I am really looking forward to playing the full version of that as soon as it's out. There's no exact date, but it will be out this year. Next up at number 7, BlackGate. BlackGate is a 4v1 horror shooter that throws you into high-stakes, frantic multiplayer action where 4 players, the engineers, go against 1 killer, the alien, set in a nightmarish space station called BlackGate. This is a game of teamwork under pressure. You coordinate movement as you activate sections of the space station and work together to survive in tight and terrifying arenas. But in this one, you're cooperating directly with the other 3 people you're with to fight against the alien, who is yet another person. When it comes to online multiplayer games, I love being in a cooperative situation versus just versus and being against everyone else. Early access starts in October, but I have direct contact with the developers of this game, and I'm gonna get to reveal a lot more very soon. At number 6, Glassbreakers. In Glassbreakers, you will lead a squad of champions into fast-paced, tactical, competitive arenas with magic, and command your team to protect the glass and dominate the battlefield in real-time strategic battle. You can battle friends in private matches, test your skill in ranked duels, or refine your strategy in AI skirmishes. These are quick 10-minute matches that earn you XP to unlock new champions, rewards, and over 400 cosmetics. This is one of those games that I have really been looking forward to for a very long time. It reminds me a lot of Demeo and Demeo Battles. Demeo is the game that made me fall in love with multiplayer online cooperative gameplay, and Demeo Battles is an iteration of that where you play versus other people. This game really looks like an entirely different thing, but very similar in feel. And it's all set in that Moss universe that a lot of people really love. I admit I have not played Moss and Moss 2 yet. I've been kind of saving them. I am going to jump into those, especially now that I know Glassbreakers is finally going to come out. They've been working on this game for 8 years, I hear, so it's bound to have a lot of quality just fully soaked into it. I wanted to be a part of the beta a few months ago and I missed it. In any case, Glassbreakers looks like it's going to be awesome, and it will be out this year. Next on the list, at number 5, Memorium. Memorium is a tense sci-fi horror campaign where you play as Dr. Otto Hudson, searching for answers amid a deadly ichor infection aboard humanity's last ship. You immerse yourself in claustrophobic corridors, unravel cryptic lore, and fight to survive as the corridors close in and the infection spreads. This survival horror VR game actually began 4 years ago after the success of the hit Half-Life Alyx mod, Return to Rapture. The developers, Patient 8 Games, have managed to pull together a full-fledged sci-fi survival experience. This is one of those games that I just am really excited to play in VR. It's not just a first-person shooter where you're just shooting and that's all you do. It's definitely a survival horror game in VR in space. So like Dead Space with weird, icky, infectious monsters. It's obviously not for kids, it's more of a bloody, gory horror game, and it's going to come around just in time for this spooky season in October 2025. Next at number 4, Thief VR Legacy of Shadow. Thief VR Legacy of Shadows is a fully realized VR reincarnation of the classic Thief franchise, where you use stealth, shadows, and subterfuge in a beautifully grim cityscape. In this game, you'll melt into the darkness, pick locks, swipe treasures, and move silently through narrow alleys and rooftops, much like the series' trademark atmosphere, but reimagined in VR. I am all about sneaking around. I haven't played any Thief games in any iteration, but this game just looks top tier. It reminds me the most, obviously, of Assassin's Creed Nexus, which is an awesome game in VR, but it's got all the elements of sneaking around in the darkness, and it looks really nice too. So I am most definitely looking forward to jumping into this one at some point this year. Next on the list, at number 3, Arken Age. Arken Age is a single-player high fantasy VR odyssey into the Biochasm, which was conceived by the mysterious Grand Arborist. Magical, lush, and deadly, you engage in full physics weapon combat, hack through magical landscapes, and wield enchanted swords electrified by nature itself. Arken Age is quite clearly one of the biggest and best VR games already released on Steam this year. Its Steam reviews are very positive, with many calling it one of the best VR experiences of the year by far. And with it soon coming out for the Quest 3, its audience is about to grow exponentially. This is one of those games I saw originally was going to be released in regular VR, and I just went, okay, that's a PC VR game only. But the fact that it's coming to Quest 3 and it still looks really good, and I've seen some of the testing of it, and it's lost a little bit of the detail and some of the shadows, but it still looks great on the Quest 3. Obviously, it remains to be seen what the final build will look like, but Arken Age is definitely going to be one of the top tier games of 2025, and it's going to be out in November. Next up at number 2, Deadpool VR. Deadpool VR brings the wisecracking merc with a mouth to Quest 3 with chaos, guns, and all the edgy humor we've grown to love. It's a fast-paced traversal, melee, mayhem, chaotic game with tongue-in-cheek combat and fourth wall breaks all over the place. I had the opportunity to play this early at GameFest in June, and I can just tell you that the gameplay mechanics themselves are so solid. You really just jump right in, and it's fast-paced, you're grabbing weapons, you're decapitating, slicing off arms, doing everything. And if you want to see the video that I did about that, just click right there. That'll show you all the little details that I pulled from it. By far, Deadpool VR is the biggest IP that's being released. It's a Marvel game. It is 100% going to be a huge release and probably sell better than anything else all year. But it did not take the number 1 slot for me. At number 1, Reach. Reach is a cinematic, free-flowing action-adventure from Endream's Elevation Studio, with agile parkour blending together with an immersive story. You'll climb, fling, and traverse with fluid movement as you explore alien architecture with finesse and cinematic momentum. So this is one of those games that I also got to try at Summer Game Fest. It's definitely 100% the best parkour I have ever tried in a VR game. One of the things that really stands out to me is that they made it a point to build the game with full body physics. It's not something they talk about a lot, but it really does feel better, I think, because of that. As you traverse the levels, you have a feeling of control that is very different than a lot of previous games where it's just your hands. Like all the ape games where you're using your arms to fling yourself around, there's a sort of sense of control similar to that in a good way, and it doesn't make you nauseous. There's a stability to it in the flow of grabbing and flinging and controlling every movement that you have. And the mechanics of gameplay when you're fighting bad guys, which I only got to fight bad guys that were not alien or strange robots or anything like that. It was just people shooting at me. But those mechanics felt very cinematic and fluid, and they've released a lot more footage now since the VR showcase, for example, right here, where you're in a much more fantastical landscape than just a standard place that I was in the demo. The controls and the weapon usage, everything just feels really good. And they focused on making it feel really good before they focused on putting the whole game together with all the other elements. For me, even though it's not the biggest IP, it's a new thing. Endreams knows what they're doing. I got no nausea, I felt amazing, and the game just feels so cool to play. I really can't wait to play the full version of Reach at some point this year. So that's it for the top 10, but here are some bonus titles that look good as well. Drakenridge. In Drakenridge, you play as a hunter who is a novice of the Mage Order. In the core gameplay, you set out to change the fate of Drakenridge by fulfilling the main quest as you explore islands and dungeons, solve puzzles, and defeat enemies. It boasts 5 islands, 9 dungeons, 30 creatures, 16 spells, 20 weapons, and over 40 quests. It's got a quirky kind of pixelated style, and it just looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm hoping to jump into this and do a review for it as soon as I can, and it's available very soon on September 4th. Tracked. Tracked is a fully immersive VR action survival shooter where every weapon, tool, and step feels real. You hunt and track wildlife, craft gear, cook over an open fire, scale cliffs, face off against all kinds of ruthless enemies like poachers, you'll rescue your sister, and remember your father's guidance to survive the Canadian wilderness. And it just looks like a lot of fun. The graphics don't look stunning or crazy, but it just being in that forest setting looks really good. Tracked is releasing sometime this fall. Unloop. Unloop is a retro-futuristic VR puzzle game built around self-cooperative time loop mechanics. In the game, you learn to work with your past selves and use a time loop to your advantage to move forward, solve puzzles, retrieve critical data from the station, and uncover the source of the time loop. It looks really strange, quirky, and very fun. It's set for release at some point in September. And finally, Of Lies and Rain. Of Lies and Rain is a story-driven first-person shooter built for VR. Set in a dark sci-fi post-apocalyptic world where you fight to reclaim your past and save humanity from the brink of extinction. You'll use weapons with distinct and innovative designs to traverse interconnected real and digital worlds. This is one of the coolest demos that you can go and play right now on your Quest 3. And it's just a incredibly immersive and very nice looking game. The fact that they pulled this off looking so good on the Quest 3 standalone says a lot for the game, and the controls feel good. The very opening of the game is very dramatic. You're climbing up this train as it's falling apart underneath you. I had no idea up until this week, but Of Lies and Rain is coming to early access very soon on September 10th, 2025. But you can go play the demo right now, and if you haven't played it yet, I highly, highly recommend it. So there you have it, the biggest MetaQuest 3 games of 2025, Volume 2, plus some bonuses. So there really are a lot of really great things coming out this year. I was worried earlier in this year that there wasn't going to be anything really great like last year, because last year we got Batman Arkham Shadow, Behemoth, and Metro Awakening. They were all huge games in 2024. And the only big IP this year is Deadpool, and that really pales in comparison to the likes of Batman. But the games on this list really do look great. And that's not even to mention Battlemarked, which supposedly is coming out this year as well. And that's from the makers of Demeo. And it's the Dungeons & Dragons universe implemented together. So that'll be a really great cooperative game to go online and defeat monsters and play as well. I can't wait to see that one. Nothing quite compares to Batman for me, but obviously there are still going to be some really great games this year. But you know, that's just what I think. What do you think? Do you think next year will be better with more big titles like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming along? Which of these games that I did talk about are you the most excited about? And is there anything specific that you feel like I should have included in the list that I didn't? Let's talk about it in the comments below. And like I said, this is Volume 2. If you didn't see Volume 1, check it out right here. That is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Go try something new. I'll see you soon on GameList Plus.
Do you have any questions?